Hello, folks. How y'all doing today? This is Kaiser from Kaisers Kastle. Welcome to my war room. I have some serious stuff to talk with you about today. You may or may not want to know about this. How's it going there, Cold Warrior? Alrighty. Strap in. Get ready, because I'm about to break it down to you. Right now, you live in a fraudulent world. And what I mean by that is very simple. We all had to read certain books in school, college, high school, blah, blah, blah. But the reality is that those things that happened when we had to do it were meant to make us more pliable. And I'm glad that you guys took a seat in my big orange couch. There's plenty of room for my small group, and you guys can all sit there and we can all laugh and joke. And that's pretty much, we're going to be in a comfy situation on this, because it's, what I have to say is somewhat serious. Now, what we want to do is make Orwell fiction again. Okay? Remember, from Orwell, we came up with terms like face crime, newspeak, thought crime, speech crime. You know, things that in democracies we always felt we could have. You know, our freedom of speech, our freedom of thought, our freedom to look how we look. But then they started with chipping away at certain things. One of those funny things they chipped away at, and it happened. No matter what anybody thinks, it did happen. we started pulling down statues, started pulling down and vilifying people who built our countries in the West. I'm speaking specifically to the West. I'm talking about Germany. I'm talking about America. I'm talking about France. This all has led up to something, okay? That's real. And what I mean by this is we've actually allowed it. Now, I'm a Gen Xer. I'm not a boomer. I know, the boomer meme is wild with me because, I'm 50 now, but I'm a Gen Xer. My mother, if she was still alive, would have been 72. So she is a boomer. She's no longer alive, but that would have been her age. So the reality is something even deeper. And it started basically back in her era. You got to remember, after the Second World War and Korea, they never could have gotten away and pulled this shit. Hey, Cold Warrior, give me a 5x5 if you can hear me, brother. I'd appreciate it. Want to make sure I'm getting out because I'm not seeing it getting out. So, here's the thing. My mother was staunch American. Taught me and my twin sister to be staunch Americans. Not for good or ill, to have our minds opened, but not so open that our brains fall out our fucking ears. Now, with that being said, it's kind of important, and something got lost in the translation. Because now we accept a lot of things, okay? And it started with Google when they brought their whole thing when they were trying to, use AI to do stuff. People forgot a classical movie, and I want you guys to rewatch that movie, Rollerball. I'm not a big fan of the movie, but I do remember the big computer they had, their AI. That AI was all about collecting information, but it made mistakes with that AI, and it was called Zero, okay? Now, right now, we have something going on with Google. Their new Edge, Microsoft's Edge, and Google and Microsoft have gone to bed together with each other, and they brought in NewsGuard. NewsGuard is AI too, because it'll throw shit up on my videos. So if you say something that's not, if it's counter to the scientific norms, if it's counter to historical norms, if it's counter to medical norms, then it gets labeled fake news. And of course, they got to put the Wikipedia up there. In Wikipedia, you guys look up how it started out with the Annenberg Foundation, all the other shit. A lot of people will say, oh, that, no, Snopes, same way. They were funded. Same with Facebook. It was CIA, DARPANet, all that stuff. We can go into this. It's conspiracy, but it's not. It's real. Anderson Cooper, you doubt me? He was an intern in the CIA. Oh, wow. I don't think I've ever heard of an intern in the CIA. Kind of doesn't make sense, does it? But I guess it does to some people. Think about this. It's craziness. And the thing about this whole thing is that it started with the removal of statues. And remember, if you're going to subvert a culture, you have to make them forget their past. You have to. There can't be any honor, any loyalty. You also have to make them reject their religions. Their education system has to be corrupted. Their social life has to be corrupted. The power structure must be corrupted. Labor relations, i.e., how you get on at work, what you do for your job. Oh, you might lose your job for what you say. for what you think, for your face crime, or you support something. You might get investigated. Think about this. We're having an investigation going on for over 2 years now for a sitting president on trumped-up charges. And there was a pun intended when I said that. They are trumped-up charges. Of charges not in crime. They haven't charged him with a fucking thing. But what they do is get the ancillary people and make it look like, oh, it's all evil, it's conspiratorial. There's no conspiracy, in fact, or indeed. But this is what they're doing. And who's helping that? Well, it might be a conglomeration called Google. Google search. Now you have NewsGuard, the AI, the Zero from Rollerball. But remember in that one, they said, oh, he dropped the entire 1300s from it. If you watch the movie, it'll blow you away. I had to take a couple days to figure some things out, but I've connected some dots. And that's why I'm having this discussion. Tonight, I'll be with Jaffe on WPRPN, World Pirate Radio Podcast Network. And I'll also be on the World Pirate Radio News. And that'll be at 11 o'clock p.m. We'll probably go more in depth into this. But it disgusts me, actually, that I was even ever a part of certain things that I did for this government. But see, I shouldn't have these views, should I? No, I shouldn't. No, I honestly should just be like going away and not worrying about it and going into retirement quietly. But the problem is it affects the House of Schuff, and I'm not the last one anymore. If I was the last one, I probably wouldn't be this ballsy, because I did not indoctrinate my son or anybody else I've ever known. See, that's the thing. It's about a brotherhood, about a friendship, a sisterhood, even if there's sisters out there. You know, I can't relate to you because I, don't have your parts, but I can understand there are some people that agree with certain things. You're not a white supremacist. I'm not a male supremacist either. But what I am is a white male, and I have a certain amount of pride because I live in the skin that I live in. And everybody should have that. That's a fact. So, if you're going to call me a name, then just call me a realist. Somebody who knows who he is. As well as you should be. That's a fact. You can't change that through any deed you do. You want to go dye your hair and look like, I can't think of her name now, but that freak show that was whiter than I am, and I'm half Dago. And that's why I go so hard on these people, is because they say, no whites were affected. Da, 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 da. No, they call me, and everybody can call me this because I'd laugh at it. A spaghetti hard N-word. You guys know what I mean. So, that's a fact. That's indeed. And it's a joke. See, we used to be able to take jokes. But this is what happens when you have subversion. Because what you don't realize, or maybe some of you do, yeah, that's right. Just like Popeye said, Cold Warrior just said it. I am what I am, and that's all what I am. Yep, that's exactly right, brother. But see, notice they even took those wholesome cartoons off the airway. They don't have them anymore. Wholesomeness is something we've lost. We've also made it, not we, as in you and I, Cold Warrior, but we as a society have, through social life and education, we've allowed them to do this. We didn't stand when we could have. Look, destabilization and demoralization. We'll get to all these points, but demoralization is the only point you can stop what's happening, and we're beyond that. We are definitely beyond that. We're in full-blown destabilization bordering on crisis. Right now, France is in the crisis stage. That's all right, brother. We are beyond the crisis stage. Almost to the crisis stage, not beyond it. But you got to remember, I've told everybody this, always in my life. You need 3 stools, 3 legs of the stool for something called a coup. And that's military, it's the 3 M's. Military, media, and you need money. Period. That's what you need. Those 3 M's are vital. And the media is co-opted. A lot of the money's co-opted. The military, and we're going to get into this later in the talk, is not completely co-opted. It's not. And when you say military, hey, Jermaine Arminius, how's it going, brother? Greetings from America to Germany, brother. Bringing up that, there was a guy, I'm going to try to find it, and I want to play that for you guys. And you know what? This might be the exact time to do it. There was a movement. Here's the thing. When we were talking about going against history, a prime example, not just statues. I'm going to pull it up on YouTube now as we're talking. There's a German feller that speaks a lot to the points that I'm making, but he does it in a different way. But there's an interesting part to this. He actually went to Russia and got their video from them, and he shared it on his page. And it's just about questioning numbers. That's really all it was. And there's somebody in Russia being prosecuted for it, and it happens in Germany and Australia too. And a matter of fact, I'm going to mute myself because I'm about to play this for you guys. I'm still here for a few, so give me a second. I got to get this all back. It's very sarcastic, and it's okay if it's sarcastic. But it's because they're being forced to, in Europa, to believe in nonsense. Because nobody's ever actually taking a real count. But it's always must 6 million. And so, here we go. I'm about to play it, and then I'll mute myself once I do, okay? But we all understand we believe in the Holocaust, right? Yeah, I'm sure we do. Here we go. It's in Russian, by the way.
Меня зовут Константин. Я председатель совета недавно созданного в Перми молодежного движения «Мы верим в Холокост». Я думаю, наше движение – надежный кадровый резерв для органов власти и партии «Единая Россия». Ведь молодежь с идеалами, законопослушные и проверенные люди нужны всем.
Меня зовут Вячеслав. Я член молодежного движения «Мы верим в Холокост». И я вообще не понимаю этого Юшкова. Нам что, так трудно что ли поверить в 6 миллионов погибших евреев? Я не понимаю. Во все времена люди во что-то верили. В древние времена люди верили в Бога. В советские времена люди верили в Ленина и коммунизм. во времена гитлеровской Германии люди верили в Гитлера и в расовое превосходство немцев.
This is
Все
being
поколения
published
должны
by
верить во
Der
что-то.
Volkslehr.
Сейчас мы должны верить в 6 миллионов, и это нормально. Мы должны верить во что-то святое.
Меня зовут Николай, я член молодежного движения «Мы верим в Холокост». Ну, конечно же, я верю, что их было ровно 6 миллионов. Вы же знаете этих евреев. Это самый умный на земле народ. Разве они могут ошибаться в подсчетах?
Меня зовут Сергей, член молодежного движения «Мы верим в Холокост». Вот некоторые возмущаются, что русских можно считать какого угодно количества мертвых. И закон не запрещает. А вот евреев не меньше 6 миллионов. Ведь я это понимаю. Ведь евреи это самый ценный, самый главный
I
народ.
just put the link
Они управляют
in
огромным количеством
the
сфер.
chat.
Финансовой, политической, культурной. И поэтому мертвые евреи для нас самые незабываемые и самые ценные.
Ну, конечно же, я верю, что их было ровно 6 миллионов. Вы же знаете этих евреев. Это же самый честный народ. Разве они могут кого-то обмануть?
Здравствуйте, меня зовут Михаил. Я член молодежного движения «Мы верим в Холокост». Сейчас многие возмущены, что Роман Юшкова, который против 6 миллионов еврейских жертв, судят по статье Уголовного кодекса «Реабилитация нацизма». А по-моему, это очень правильно и справедливо, ведь евреи – самый антинацистский народ. Правда, уже установлено, что и Гитлер, и Геббельс, и Эйхман, и другие лидеры Третьего Рейха тоже являются евреями. Но упоминать об этом неуместно и не политкорректно. Ведь все знают, что евреи – самый антинацистский народ. И поэтому любые действия против еврейских интересов и считают реабилитацией нацизма. И это абсолютно правильно.
Здравствуйте, меня зовут Алексей.
Hello,
Я
I'm
член движения «Мы
Alexei.
верим в
I'm a
Холокост».
member of the
Знаете, я раньше все время
WPA.
ходил,
I used to
угорал,
find it
то, что во
funny
время
that
войны умерло якобы 6
allegedly 6
миллионов.
million
Чё,
Jews were
какие 6
killed during World
миллионов?
War II.
Там
What,
максимум
6
2-3,
million?
но на крайняк
It could
4,
be
но
a
никак уж не
maximum of
больше.
2-3
И
million.
знаете, я узнал,
And
что
then I
Юшкова
learned
будет посажена на 3
Yoshkov
года за
could be
это.
put
И знаете,
in jail
я
for 3
хорошенько
years.
подумал
And then I
и
thought well
поверил,
and
что
believed
все-таки
in
умерло
6
6
million.
миллионов.
Меня зовут
I'm
Кристина.
Christina.
Я член молодежного
I'm
движения
a
«Мы
member
верим
of
в
the
Холокост».
WBA.
Вот сейчас очень
A lot of
многие
people don't
удивляются,
understand how
как
the
так
Jews
евреи
calculated these
насчитали, что у
exactly
них
6
было
million
убито точно 6
victims.
миллионов. Ну, конечно, это было
Of
нелегко
course, it wasn't
сосчитать.
easy to calculate
Ведь евреи
that,
это
but
очень
Jews are very
трудолюбивый народ.
hardworking,
Они считали,
and they
считали
counted and
каждый
counted and
день.
counted every day,
Пересчитывали.
counted and recounted,
Вот не сбились,
and they never got
сосчитали
exactly,
точно 6
and they
миллионов.
finally got the exactly 6 million. Don't offer less than 6 million. When you
Мы
guys
уже
watch it, you'll see
заказали
they
большие
painted it
желтые
on
значки
a.
с надписью «Я верю в
Yep,
Холокост».
they believe in
Нам их
Holocaust,
профинансировало
just like I
Пермское
do.
отделение
Perm
партии
Department
«Единая
of
Россия».
United Russia
Мы хотим
financed
провести
them.
опрос
We
всех
want to ask
жителей
the
Перми,
citizens of Perm
верят ли они так
if
же,
they
как мы
believe in
верим.
the Holocaust
И тем,
like we
кто
do,
верит,
and
мы
those who
подарим эти
believe will
значки.
get these
Мы
badges.
уже начали этот опрос.
We have
Мы
already
опросили
started our poll
несколько
and have
тысяч
interviewed
пермяков.
several
Мы уже
thousand
нашли
people
37
and
человек,
found 37
которые
believers.
верят.
And
И
this
это
is only
только
the beginning.
начало.
Я вместе с
I
молодежью
believe together
верю
with the youth in 6
6
million.
миллионов.
Older woman speaking.
Знаете,
Older man.
верю
Yes,
в
I
6
believe
миллионов
6 million
всем
with all my
сердцем.
heart.
Здравствуйте, меня
Hello,
зовут
I'm
Андрей,
Andrei,
и я
and I'm a
являюсь
member
членом
of
молодежного
We Believe.
движения «Мы верим в Холокост». Я считаю,
I
что
think the
бессмертный
immortal
полк
regiment
на
on
9
May
мая
9th
уже не
is not
актуален,
appropriate
потому что в то
because
время
during World War II
советских
nobody
солдат
counted dead
никто не
Soviet
считал,
soldiers.
а евреи,
But
когда
Jews, when
кто-то
some of their
погибал,
own died,
они
counted
всех
them
обязательно
all, and they
считали,
got
и
exactly
получилось
6
ровно 6
million.
миллионов.
It
Это
is
закреплено в
written in the
европейском
European
законодательстве и
legislation
нынче
and
в
the
нашем
Russian one as
русском.
well now.
В связи с этим
So we suggest
наше
holding the
молодежное
March of
движение будет
Holocaust
выходить с
instead of the
инициативой
Immortal Regiment of
вместо
May 9th.
бессмертного полка проводить торжественный марш Холокоста. И наши дети
Our
и
children
внуки
and
уже
grandchildren
будут
will carry not
идти
photos of
не
their
с
not
какими-то там
counted
засчитанными дедушками и
grandparents,
прадедушками, а
but
с
with
фотографиями
photos of
погибших
dead Jews
евреев,
who are
которых
exactly 6
должно быть по
million.
стране ровно 6 миллионов.
Меня зовут Нурик. Я тоже член движения. Мы верим в Холокост. Я тоже хочу поверить в 6 миллионов индейцев. Евреев.
Меня зовут Зарина. Сейчас мы в нашем движении «Мы верим в Холокост» обсуждаем принятие гимна.
If you want to watch more of that, feel free to. I just halted it. I put a link in the chat. You guys can feel free to look at it. And yes, we are a part of history as well as the Jewish people. And the thing about this is that they want to destroy, when I say they, it's academia. But see, this all goes to demoralization, folks. Religion. What they do a few years back, and all of a sudden they've been harping on it. This is the media now. See, this is where you start seeing everything come together. Religion, vilified, pedophile priest. I believe there probably were some because of their vows and the stuff they did. Yeah, probably. But was it rampant? I don't know about that. And I don't know if you do either. And I'm not a Catholic, by the way. Education. I do know about this. Everybody who's gone on through high school, everybody who's gone on to college have seen this and how they insert a narrative. This is why I keep talking about narratives. It's an issue that everybody should take real, okay, because it's happening. The power structure. Now notice how education and power structure are about to blend into your social life. If you don't have the proper degrees, then you're an idiot. Although you may not be. But see, common sense is no longer common anymore. But if you disagree with them because of education, you might lose your job. Hell! You know what? You might even lose friends, family. That's your social life. Notice when I said that earlier. Education, religion, education, social life, power structure, labor relations, unions, and law and order. Here's another part. Now, not just with your social life, if the power structure that's been co-opted, we can see that with Ocasio-Cortez. We saw it with Barack Obama. We've seen this numerous times where Marxists get empowered. Ted Kennedy. We can go on and on with the amount of people I've seen. And there's been some, including, and I will speak of, George H.W. And I really like G.W. Bush, but he helped it along by saying nothing. I think that was his failure. And who gets to enforce that? It's the law and order, the military and the police, right? Look at what's happening in France right now. Look at what's happening in France right now, right? Orwell, anybody? Anybody seeing a little bit of Orwell? Why can't we make Orwell fiction instead of faction? Because that's what they've done. Do you understand what I'm saying now? We don't honor our ancestors. Even pagans like me, who also are Christ cucks, understand we're not honoring our lineage. But there is a certain tribe that honors their lineage to the point that Maximilian repeats. Okay? Fact. Now, labor relations, easy to explain. You lose your job. All of a sudden, the FBI, local police, they want to question what you think. You committed a thought crime, a speech crime. Last time I looked, a crime is something that you actually get involved in and do a furtive act. You don't just say something. Absolutely ridiculous. We are at destabilization. And this is globally in the West. These roots were sown by the Soviets. And even if you listen to Yuri Bezmenov back in the day, you'll hear him say exactly these things. Social justice. These SJWs think they got something new. That was back in the fucking 80s when I was a kid, kids. Wake the fuck up. And we're at destabilization right now. It's been eradication. And they will... Here's the three things that are happening right now, and you're seeing it. They're getting everybody to perform anarchy, and it's so hilarious to me because it's all about their opinions and what they are. The media validates them, and the LEO and military have to support them because of who's in charge. See, the deep state is exactly what they talk about with the government condoning it. The government believes it, so it must be true. So it must be condoned that these morons, because there's no more spying anymore, because the media will vilify the government people, the people from the Senate, the Congress, your governor, your state official, whatever, your attorney generals, they will vilify them if they notice that we're being undermined. And they'll vilify you too. And so all that destabilization now is coming to a head. And then they'll make the LEO and military that are being able, that have to enforce. Trust me, I was a cop, a federal cop too. We would have to enforce their right to speech. When their right to speech was doing nothing but destabilizing a nation. Look at the 60s. Look at what happened, folks. If you don't see it, your eyes are wide shut. So, of course, the LEO and military will be... Look at Kent State in Ohio, where I'm from. I know Guards members that were there that told me factually they were trying to burn down the ROTC building using different devices. Guess what? That's okay now? That's okay? Let them burn it down. Oh, wait, wasn't there a woman in Baltimore, a mayor, who said, burn it down? Let them burn it down? I've got to let my dog out. I'm going to give you some music to listen to while I let my dog out. He's whining, and I got to let him out. Here we go. Now, sorry about that, folks. Dogs whine. I love my dogs. I got to let them out. So if you're upset by that, it's got to happen. I love them. So, yes, Jermaine, you're right. Fire can clean the shit, but not a way to wake up people, in my view. We have to give more interest to cut the power. Yep. And what he means by that is the power that the media has assumed. As the fourth estate, they've actually become the first estate. They can subvert a nation from just their opinions because media no longer is the who, what, where, when, why, and how. It's now become the end-all, be-all of all opinion. That's problematic, folks. Now, here's the problem we're at now. And here's why law enforcement and the military will fail, because they don't know how to blend. And I'm telling the facts, and all the military, law enforcement, intel folks listening, they think they know shit. They don't. They're ineffective. And they're proving themselves ineffective every day. And Jermaine knows this, and so do I. In the West, it's because of constitutions. That's the problem. Now, you think this was not done without sleeper agents? Without people who are here to undermine and subvert your culture? Maybe they were here 30 years ago when I was running game in the 80s. When I was doing my shit in the 80s. Maybe these same fuckers are over here and they've gotten so much subversion into our own people, our academia, that they're not the ones running shit, and that's exactly what's happening. Because, and now you have a problem with sleeper cells. How many undocumented people do we have here? You think building a wall is not important now? You still think that? I think you better rethink that, because we already got them here. So the next part is when they awaken the sleeper cells. It's already happened in certain places. You think it hasn't happened here? See, all of this stuff is quasi-legal, even up to destabilization. But at crisis, it's no longer legal. Once there's violence brought in. But nobody wants to listen to that. You know, the cops think they got it under control. Oh, yeah, you got it under control, bitches. You have to chase anybody that somebody makes a complaint on. How the fuck do you have it under control? That's a for real question, and the people who are listening know exactly why I'm saying this. Because you got to look at other people that have nothing to do with anything you're looking at, but the people that are doing it, you don't fucking pay any attention to, and there's a reason. Because you don't want to look bad to the media. There we go. We're at the crisis point. The easiest way to have stopped this was during demoralization, but it's all legal to demoralize a nation. That's a fact. You can't deny it. With that being said, I'm about to tie this up. If we let it go to crisis, it'll go to demoralization or normalization. Normalization is nothing more than what we call restabilization, okay? In the West, we got to restabilize what we destabilized, okay? Demoralization is destabilization. It's just a different word, a different phraseology. It's a different East-West phraseology. That's it. We're almost at the brink at this point. Now, the media is going to be how the media is going to be. You can't fix it. They're all fucking morons, but you can't ignore them. There came a time in Russian, Soviet times when they called it dog walking hours. When the people walked out, and this is in East Germany too, I'm sure Jermaine knows this, and it was right before the wall fell, where people knew everything they were getting from Novesti, what they were getting from Pravda, all the different medias, was bullshit. So they just took their dogs for a walk during news time. Unfortunately, we in America aren't doing the same. It's kind of sad, isn't it? We're supposed to be a classical liberal society in the West where we think for ourselves. But we don't really think for ourselves, do we? We're all about what we have, what we got, the bling, how many hoes I can bang. Really? That's what we become? We can't be guys that want to be with one woman and not have a woman that's rode every cock in town on the cock carousel. We can't speak real because we're anti-gay, we're anti-feminist, we're anti-whatever. I must be anti-everything because it doesn't make sense. George Orwell was supposed to be fiction. It wasn't supposed to be fact. And these fuckers have upside down world us so hard that we are now believing the lie that it's real. Never forget the one quote from 1984. Who controls the past controls the future. Who controls the present controls the past. Think again next time they pull a statue down that this was not done all by design. Now, I know this is a hard talk for a lot of you to listen to, but I'm telling you, you're about to be confined to a purgatory that you have no idea what's coming. I'm fully versed in this. So is Jermaine. I can speak to those two facts, those two truths I can speak to. And there's more that know this too. The problem is you don't, folks. And please like, share, comment. If you think I'm full of shit, tell me I'm full of shit. I don't care. You sat next to the fire, that nice fireside chat, measuring the strategic plan on my big orange couch next to the war room, adjacent to the war room. And you heard my spill. Never did you hear me talk about violence, but you did tell me to be alert. And there's something that's afoot, and you're not hearing it. With that being said, I'll finish out Inside Enemy Headquarters. The song before that was Axe Marks the Spot. It's by Axion Ghost. And he's a friend of mine. Please go to his page. Very good guy. In my opinion, he's a musical wonder. In my opinion, he's a musical wonder because he's a one-man band, which always fascinated me, even when I was a kid, that one man could make music. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. But like, comment, and share on his stuff too. And that's all I'll ask y'all. All right? So with that being said, Shuff out. Much love. Peace. This is The Werewolf Bunker by Axion's Ghost.